Hello there, and welcome to another episode of RiesKitchen. Today we're going to be making chocolate brownies. These are perfect for morning tea, afternoon tea, or the school lunches. But we're going to be making one with a slight difference, a bit of an Aussie twist. So let's get started with our ingredients. We have vanilla essence, salt, baking powder, gluten-free in my case of course, eggs, rice flour, dark cooking chocolate, butter, macadamias and caster sugar. The macadamia nut is probably the most mainstream piece of Aussie bush tucker that we all know and use. So it's a small round nut, it's grown in northern Queensland and it's very soft, so easy enough to chop up with a knife rather than having to put in your food processor. So if you didn't have macadamias, of course you could use pecans or almonds, but macadamias are definitely the best. Yum. So first thing we need to do is melt our butter and chocolate together. To do that, we need a double boiler. And the easiest way to have a double boiler is to have a glass bowl and a saucepan, of which you have about 1.5 inches of water in the bottom, or 4 or 5 centimetres, and then a glass bowl that's large enough so that when it's sitting in the saucepan, the bowl isn't touching the water, but it also blocks all the steam coming up the side, because water and melting chocolate are enemies, and it will actually make the chocolate split. So we just pop our chocolate and butter into the bowl. Pop the bowl on top and light some gas. So now's the perfect time to preheat your oven to 180 degrees centigrade, 160 if you're doing fan forced, and start stirring this as it's starting to melt. So as you can see, it doesn't take long for that all to melt. So once that's all smooth, which this just about is, we'll just take our bowl off the heat and add our caster sugar. So while this is cooling just a little, we can beat our eggs because we don't want the eggs to cook in the mixture. But just lightly. So now with that, we can add our eggs. How rich and luscious that looks. So now that that's mixed through, we just add our dry ingredients that we've sifted. Mix that through. Then the last thing to do is just fold through our nuts and vanilla. So now we need to get our tin ready. Now you need a 11-inch or 28 centimetre tin, rectangular or square, and preferably a non-stick, but just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to use a little bit of softened butter and just grease my tin. Won't need much, but the last thing we want is for it to stick. Now because this is a solid tin and not a silicone tin, it can be a bit tricky getting it out at the end. So I'm also just going to layer it with some baking paper, and really this is just going to give me the handle to lift it out at the end. Okay, so now we can just pour it straight in. Doesn't that look just amazingly luscious? So this now goes into our oven for half an hour or until it tests clean with a skewer. Oh, this just smells so good. So let's check it. Look at that. I'm using a skewer. I'll just go in the middle. And it's come out clean, so that's ready. Now being gluten-free, of course, we need to let it cool in the tin first. So now that this is cooled, I'm going to lift it up out and pop it on my board. So I'm just going to lift it straight up. Oh, here we go. Pop it onto my board. And that looks pretty amazing, I must say. We'll need to straighten up the edges a little bit, just with a knife before you serve it. But now I can't wait. Time to put the kettle on, I think, and have an afternoon tea. And now, as always, the best bit is in the eating. The centre is chewy, the chocolate is decadent. Until next time, everybody, ciao.